From Bristol. Now, John Longworth is the former Director General of the British Chamber of Commerce and was a big supporter of Brexit. Are these worries justified?
It's right that people are naturally concerned that we get the right outcome, but there are a number of things that we must recognise. First of all, in order to leave the European Union, we have to leave the single market and the customs union. Not only do our negotiators believe that, but that's the view of the European Commission as well. Secondly, all of the parties, including the European Union, have to operate under World Trade Organization WTO rules, and if they mendaciously prevent the movement of goods across frontiers through administrative means, that is actually illegal. It's not legal to do that, and we would be able to take action against the European Union if they were doing that.
Well, the concerns of people isn't that they would falsely try to start this, but if you had tariffs on other goods, it would lead to build-ups at ports. It would just be difficult, and even goods which didn't have tariffs on them would be held up in that process.
Well, you know, you heard in the report itself the mention of global supply chains. Many of the countries that were mentioned do not have any free trade arrangement with the European Union. They're not members of the customs union or the single market. And yet, lo and behold, somehow we managed to get those goods into the country and into European countries. The truth is that most trade in the world takes place with countries that are not members of the single market and not members of the customs union, and it works perfectly well because there are already existing customs unions arrangements under WTO for that to happen.
The British government in its white paper says that it wants frictionless trade. Michel Barnier has said today frictionless trade is not possible outside the single market.
Well, he's right in one sense, in the sense that global trade has some paperwork attached to it. But that is even true, of course, within the European Union because of European safety standards and so on. There is paperwork attached to trade. That's simply a fact. But it doesn't have to be onerous or burdensome.
The other thing that people are worried about is getting the talent in. They're worried that there might be, and we obviously don't know at this stage, but there might be some sort of work permit or visa scheme that would make it more arduous.
We need to actually restrict immigration into unskilled jobs, but keep open immigration into high-skilled jobs because that's actually beneficial for the economy. And there's no reason why the UK can't adopt that policy.
How does that work? Somebody comes into the country, they're not British, and do you have to tell whether they're a tourist, whether they're a high-skilled worker, low-skilled worker?
Well, most other countries in the world do exactly that. You know, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United States, etc., all do exactly that. They have mechanisms for assessing whether the people coming into the country are going to bring value to the country or be a drain on the economy. But, you know, one of the facts about this whole debate is that business and big corporations, particularly foreign-owned corporations like Airbus and multinationals, of which there are many, because we have sold off huge swathes of British manufacturing to foreign buyers, and they're now having an influence on this debate as a sort of fifth column. We have to actually get to a situation where they embrace the new economic paradigm that we're going to have. And it's also up to the government to make it clear where we're going. By Q1 next year, the government should make an assessment about whether a free trade arrangement is likely or not within the 2-year negotiating period. If it is not likely, and they believe it is not likely, they should abandon those fruitless negotiations and leave that till later and concentrate on fixing the administrative issues like the customs union paperwork, like open skies, and start to prepare in the following 12 months for crystallising the real benefits of Brexit, which will increase economic growth in the UK far beyond what would otherwise have been the case if we remained in the EU.